Canada's plans to impose high tariffs on Tesla have reignited many tensions in the electric vehicle industry. While the move may seem like an attempt to penalize a single brand, there are big political and economic calculations underlying it. At the same time, when it intersects with Donald Trump's tariffs in the United States, it raises the prospect of a new trade storm across North America. So why does Canada want to target Tesla in particular? What are the implications for relations with the United States, the electric vehicle transition, and global climate goals? Trump administration's plan for expanding tariffs and the implications of all these developments on energy trade and geopolitics. Before answering all these questions, it's worth taking a step back and understanding the political climate in Canada. Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the New Democratic Party, which is not in power in the country, but can make serious moves from time to time due to its power in parliament, is talking about imposing a 100% tariff on Tesla. At the same time, he wants a government subsidy of $10,000 for electric vehicles produced in Canada. On the surface, these demands suggest a protectionist trade policy mixed with an environmentalist perspective. On the most part, Canada has been reluctant to use tariffs to protect its economy and jobs. But domestic political dynamics can change. The NDP argues that Canada needs to take a larger share of the clean energy revolution to meet its environmental goals, but that companies like Tesla in the United States are taking advantage of tariff advantages and economies of scale to wipe out Canadian competitors. The NDP tries to persuade voters by blending carbon emission reduction policies with an economic nationalist rhetoric. In other words, it both says, let's bring in clean vehicles and save the world, and let's protect Canadian workers and producers while doing so. Tesla, on the other hand, is one of the leaders in the electric vehicle market and operates globally. The company has major facilities in California, Nevada, and Texas in the United States. It also operates a large gigafactory in China. It does not yet have a large-scale production facility in Canada. If the NDP's proposal goes through and 100% tariff is indeed imposed on Tesla, Tesla's selling prices in Canada would increase significantly. This would make Tesla less attractive to consumers. Of course, Tesla could take a couple of courses of action. First, it could open a new factory in Canada to produce locally and avoid tariffs. Second, it could lobby the Canadian government to try to prevent this legislation from passing. Third, the United States government could step in and try to get Canada to back down, but none of these is an easy process. Imposing a 100% tax on a United States company like Tesla could be read as a trump card for Canada against United States trade aggression. In other words, the NDP is saying if you impose tariffs on Canadian cars or other products, we can respond with heavy tariffs on United States brands. Tesla or other companies would not be the only losers in such a showdown. The automotive supply chain in North America is very complex and integrated. Parts go back and forth from the United States to Canada. If the two countries start to impose high tariffs on each other, production costs will jump, investments will slow down, and prices to consumers will increase. This could slow down the pace of electric vehicle penetration. Just when the world is trying to move away from fossil fuels, such protectionist moves could create unpredictability in the markets and disrupt the energy transition. On the other hand, Canada wants to become a strategic country in the energy transition. It has rich mineral resources, potential for the extraction of lithium and similar rare metals, and clean hydroelectric resources. Canada that wants to meet the raw material needs of the electric vehicle industry from domestic sources could require global companies like Tesla to invest in the country it is trying to develop the industry by making batteries produced with government incentives with Canadian labor and Canadian companies. So the fact that global giants like Tesla are making huge profits without contributing to the Canadian ecosystem is fueling political debate. On the other hand, China is one of the hidden heroes of this story. Tesla has a large production facility in China. As trade tensions between the United States and China continue, Tesla's imports of parts made in China into the North American market may be raising Canada's objections to Tesla, taking advantage of China's hidden subsidies, arguing that many parts of these vehicles originate in China, even if they are made in the United States. This is where Trump's statement that I will impose tariffs on Chinese products comes into play. In other words, while Canada is taking Tesla to task, Trump may impose additional tariffs on Chinese components used by Tesla, putting Tesla in a different corner. From another perspective, the picture is complex. Canadian consumers support green policies, but they also need affordable electric vehicles. If a 100% tariff would drive up the prices of brands like Tesla to exorbitant levels, the public's interest in EV conversion could wane. This would be counterproductive to climate goals. Of course, once the government's $10,000 incentive package kicks in, Canadian vehicles could become relatively affordable. But is there a glut of Canadian electric vehicles on the market? Companies like General Motors, Ford, Stellantis are making them in Canada, but they are all United States-based. Volkswagen has also announced plans to open a battery factory in Ontario. If this new investment is completed and production starts, local models could be attractive with incentives, but this will take years to materialize. So in the short term, Canadian consumers may be left with expensive Tesla or domestic models with few options. In the meantime, if Trump tariffs kick in, United States car and component prices could rise, the supply chain would be disrupted, and the automotive ecosystem between the United States, Canada, and Mexico would suffer a major disruption. Even brands like Volkswagen, Toyota, and Honda would be at risk. In general, protectionism would increase, global trade volume would be shaken, and retaliatory measures would be taken by different countries. There could be a global slowdown in electric vehicles and clean energy investments. This could benefit competitors like China. To summarize the whole picture, Canada's 100% tax plan on Tesla is not just a simple protectionist reflex. In domestic politics, the NDP's exit sends a strong signal to voters. We are pro-green transformation, and we will protect domestic producers against foreign giants. In practice, however, the consequences of this policy could be quite contradictory. Both the Canadian economy and cooperation in the region could suffer. Likewise, a full-scale trade war in North America could ensue. Contrary to the outcome, prices for electric vehicles could rise, and demand could fall. More harm than good would come to the public. Despite all this, from a political point of view, the NDP and similar parties are able to create a mobilizing excitement among voters with such outbursts. The Trudeau administration, on the other hand, has not yet announced which direction it will take. The Liberal Party may not want to escalate tensions with the United States, but domestic public pressure to protect us from United States giants is growing. The shadow of Trump's tariffs is pushing neighbors like Canada and Mexico to take their guard up against the United States. In the future, there may be diplomatic compromises, such as Tesla opening a production facility in Canada or a reduction in tariffs. But even then, the Trump reality will be in play, and it remains to be seen what policies will be enacted in the United States regarding Tesla. In terms of the world economy, as such protectionist tendencies increase, global supply chains become more fragile and consumers suffer. The shape of the electric vehicle revolution will largely depend on how countries move forward with tariffs and incentives. If Canada implements this tax plan, the Canadian market for Tesla could shrink significantly. Maybe Elon Musk will build a new factory. Maybe the tax rate will be kept at a lower level as a result of commercial negotiations. For now, there is a lot of uncertainty. In any case, Canada's tough stance against Tesla signals that trade disputes in North America will escalate in the coming period. Is the 100% tax move the right move, or is it a practice that will disrupt the electric vehicle market? What kind of a picture will emerge when combined with Trump tariffs and retaliation from other countries?